Alright, hello. We've already got a comment. Watching Tokyo Godfathers at the movie theater, so I'll probably miss the stream. Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, I thought I'd stream a bit. Oh my god, I'm sorry about how bad the lighting is. Um, just feeling. Oh, that's right. I've got to open something light screen on the. Is that a little bit better? Yeah. Oh no, I can't be bothered to go out to the other room. Maybe having Facebook open is a little bit distracting, but. Hey! Oh wow. Hello. Yeah, I wasn't sure if anyone would come this early because usually I stream later in the day, but yeah, I've got the place to myself earlier than usual, so I thought, oh, come on early just in case that suits anyone's time zone better. So it's like kind of hard getting all that sorted, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, so like I don't really have any plans for this stream. Surprise notification. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't give more warning. It's just like, the way this year's going, it's like how far in advance can I plan anything? But yeah, no, I'm up earlier. I Oh my god, 12:30. Okay. Well, I try. I suppose it's better than like if it was 2 or 3 hours later, right? So you'd be at 3 a.m. But yeah, no. So it's 10:30 here in Sydney, and I'm sniffling a bit because like every morning, pretty much I get really bad hay fever, which is kind of awkward. Right now with everyone freaking out about coronavirus, like, can you even see my nose? Oh, it just looked a bit pink, maybe because I've been using so many tissues. So if I run off to grab a tissue, I'm sorry about that. It's just like in the morning, I'm constantly sneezing, which is kind of annoying. So I'll tell you a bit about my week. When did I stream last? What day is it today? Oh, it was probably about a week ago. Okay, so like I went and hung out with a friend. We went to the New South Wales Art Gallery where they were doing the Japan Supernatural exhibition. So it's like all about Japanese yokai artwork and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so because I was heading into the city and in the morning, like, we were meeting pretty early, and in the morning I do have this like hay fever problem. Especially, I don't know if it's because like suddenly we've gone from dry weather to wet weather like really fast. Maybe my nose is just like, what is happening? But yeah, so I was like, okay, I don't want to be in the city sniffling everywhere. So, mum got me some Zyrtec because like that's the only one I've ever tried before. I couldn't remember if it was one of those ones that made me drowsy or not. Turns out it is one of those ones that makes me drowsy. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. I'm meant to. I've turned my phone around the wrong. Like usually I look over that side at the camera, but now it's that side because I've turned it upside down. Oh my god. I'm sorry if I keep looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, no. So I took some Zyrtec in the morning, thinking, is that why everything? If I turn it upside down, will that ruin the stream? Alright. I think we're stuck like this. So I'm sorry if I keep looking at the wrong side of the phone. It's just a habit. Yes, so we're heading into the city to look at art gallery stuff. I don't want to be sniffling with everyone in a hysteria about coronavirus. So I was like, okay, I'll take some Zyrtec in the morning and, that'll clear it up. So I'm at the art gallery and it hasn't kicked in. And so I'm like trying my best not to sniffle too much at the art gallery. It was kind of a wet day as well. But then, we finally get out of the art gallery and I have to blow my nose and all that. And lucky I've got this little stash of tissues. And then we went to lunch, and that's when the Zyrtec kicked in. So suddenly I stopped sniffling, everything's fine, but the drowsiness just like bang. And I don't think I realized how bad I looked because eventually my friend's like, maybe you should go home. So yeah, that was kind of awkward because like, I'm trying to concentrate on the conversation, but no, I was so drowsy. I'm getting over the flu at the moment. Most of the symptoms gone, but I still have a cough. Makes me worry. People see me cough and maybe panic a little. Oh yeah, people are just insane about this virus. I mean, especially for like, people who are younger or healthier and all that kind of stuff. We don't really have to worry. It's more the people who are sort of older or already have underlying conditions that really need to worry. Obviously, like, it's better if less people get sick because then those vulnerable people won't get sick as easily. But yeah, I think I think people have just gotten a little bit nutty about it, and I think also some of the government responses are kind of making things worse, and the media is definitely making things worse. I mean, there's so many times I see media reports saying, "Ooh, it's a deadly virus," and like, it's not deadly. It doesn't kill that many people. Oh, hello. I'm working security in retail now, and I can say that here in Ireland, people will stop piling toilet paper. Angela's wives and shower. Yeah, no, we've had the whole toilet paper one. I accidentally inspired one of my friends to start a meme Instagram because he was doing a lot of COVID memes just on his personal page, and I was like, dude, why aren't you making these public or like start a page or something? And so yeah, now he has a meme Instagram. I think it's like Oz COVID-19 memes is the handle. Um, if you follow my Instagram, I shared it in my stories a couple days ago. Um, yeah, there's some funny shit going on there. Was that a pun? Hmm. Anyway, yeah, no, we've had the people going for toilet paper. They've now restricted, I think the bigger supermarkets have restricted people to buying like one thing of toilet paper. Obviously, like, if people buy one, then go away, then come back and buy one, they can probably get around it that way. But it does slow people down a bit, instead of just grabbing all of them at once and running out. Um, but yeah, no, it's just been mental. People are just crazy, and what can you do, really? But yeah, I think the vast majority of us will be fine. Now that they've got more data, they're saying the death rate is more like 1% than 2%. So that's like half what they thought it was. And I suspect, like, really, it could be lower than that because, a lot of people don't have any symptoms at all. They just carry the virus. And those people who aren't showing symptoms probably aren't going to go and get themselves tested unless, like, someone close to them gets it. And so, then how do you know if these people have the virus or not? There could be heaps more people who have the virus than we realize, and it's just not affecting them. So, you know, 1% death rate, I think it could come down lower, unless, like, we find out something new. I don't know. Especially in countries with good health systems. Maybe if it's like in a country that doesn't have those kinds of structures, the death rate's probably higher. But yeah. Oh, it's not updating properly. I was at the grocery store like a few days ago and the entire toilet paper towel aisle was empty. Oh, that doesn't keep you from getting sick. 500 paper towels at home. Yeah, I know, right? And it's funny that it's toilet paper because, like, I'm surprised, like, there's not really reports of more food. I think, like, rice has been a little bit harder to get. Being like a half Asian household, we eat a lot of rice, and so there was some rice on special, and Mum's like, "Beauty, I'm gonna go and get that." But yeah, the first couple places she tried, there wasn't any. But then the next day there was, so people aren't panicking that much about that. And I've heard that there's been less canned stuff, and people have been going to like Costco and stuff. But overall, food doesn't seem to be impacted. It's just the damn toilet paper. Which, like, in Australia, we make our own toilet paper. So it's not like it's going to stop shipping in from China or anything. We'll be fine. Um, yeah, it's bizarre. But, no, with the whole sniffling thing that I've got going on, I just, like, I can't take the Zyrtec because it just made me so drowsy. Like, I was out with my friend and then just in zombie mode after that. And, it was raining that day and she didn't have an umbrella. So, when I was walking back towards my stop to go home, she came with me and like I was trying to help have umbrella on both of us, which is a bit tricky to do. But, yeah, I think she was trying to walk me back to the stop, just to make sure I was okay and actually got on. Because I was pretty out of it. And then I got home and I had a nap, but I put my alarm on, and I think if I hadn't put my alarm on, I would have slept till the next morning, and it was way too early for that. And then, yeah, the next day I was still kind of fucked up, and yeah, so no Zyrtec for me, but Mum reckons she also saw, is it Claritine, I think, in like a non-drowsy version, so I don't know if this gets really annoying, maybe I should try some of that. I've just got to find a day where, like, it's okay for me to be drowsy. so that I can try it. Because, like, even when it says non-drowsy, you don't really know how it's going to affect you. And it turns out, like, I'm sensitive to this stuff. We found that out when I was trying antidepressants. I'm a little bit surprised that an antihistamine does that to me. Because Panadol and Nurofen, what's the paracetamol and ibuprofen don't do that to me at all. I can take those fine. But yeah, no, it turns out antihistamines is another one of those ones that just, like, my body can't handle. So add that to the list of things I need to be careful with. But yeah, no, if I can find if I can be bothered to go out, if I can find myself a non-drowsy one, find myself a good day, maybe I'll try that because, yeah, it's just super annoying. That's surprising bit too. I know I've never felt drowsy from Zyrtec before, I guess everyone is different. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, if we compare it to my antidepressant experience, some of those, especially SSRIs, they're the more modern kinds of antidepressants, and they're supposed to have less side effects than some of the older ones. And I was still getting side effects for like everything I took. The one that I thought didn't affect me, was that Cipramil? I think citalopram is the, like, generic name. Yeah, that one I thought it wasn't affecting me, but then it turned out it was actually affecting my appetite. And because my appetite's never been big, I guess we didn't notice it until it got really bad and I couldn't eat anything anymore. SSRIs have been around since the late 70s. Yeah, but, like, like, compared to tricyclics are, like, heaps hardcore, really old stuff. Like, SSRIs, comparatively speaking, are, a bit gentler and a bit more modern than, like, yeah, those tricyclics is like trying to drop a bomb on it and, expecting to come out okay. I did try a tricyclic and it seemed okay until, like, it's fucked my stomach up, but hey, whatever. Being lobsters get better and more brave. Oh my god. Oh dear. Yeah, no. There was another one that didn't affect me so much. What was it? Valdoxin, but it's not on the PBS, so it's heaps expensive, and it didn't really do very much. It sort of helped my sleep cycle a bit, but in terms of being an antidepressant, it did fuck all. So, like, it either helps, or like, if it helps, then it usually has some bad side effect, and I can't keep taking it. But I think, like, the point being, that sort of show, like, we finally realized I had a sensitivity to that, like, whatever that's going on there. And I think that perhaps says something about the way my body processes different chemicals. And so, I guess Zyrtec is another one that just doesn't agree with my body. Kind of annoying. So, yeah, but, no, at some point, if I get really desperate, I'll find one of the non-drowsy ones. Or the ones that claim to be non-drowsy and try it and, God knows it'll hit me with some other unexpected side effect, completely unrelated. But, yeah, no. Oh, man. It's annoying with my nose being like this. Especially because, like, I want to be singing. Although I find sometimes when I am singing, like, it seems to chill out a bit. And I don't know if that's because I'm distracted. I do find that if I'm heaps distracted, sometimes I'll stop sniffling. Or if it's like, because I'm singing, I'm opening up all the respiratory blah, 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 maybe there's something there. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, that's what happened to me last week. And since then, yeah, no. Oh, 2020 and things going wrong. So I think last time I probably mentioned that our dishwasher had been out of action for ages. Yesterday, the guy came to try and fix it again, and, no, not fixed. And he's like, yeah, it'll be another 2 weeks for parts. This is after we've already waited ages for parts, and the parts didn't work. So I'm like, if we wait another 2 weeks, is it going to work? Oh my god, I'm going to need another tissue. Maybe I'll just get some toilet paper. Hang on, I'll be back. Oh my god. Did I miss any comments while I was... No. Okay. Yeah, no, so, another 2 weeks for parts with no guarantee that it's actually going to fix anything. And it's just like, I think we've been without a dishwasher for more than a month now. Which is a pain, and it's a waste of water because, like, dishwashers these days are so efficient compared to hand washing. You know, it's like no contest. So yeah, I think my parents are probably gonna order a new dishwasher from a different company and just be like, yeah, no, fuck it. But it's disappointing because we've been waiting so long, and yeah, and the service wasn't that great. Well, it hasn't been that great. Like they just stuffing us around, and it's like just fix the damn machine. But I think one of the problems is that the dishwasher that we've got, it's got one of those buttons where you just touch it. It's not like a real button that you push in. So it's not like mechanical. It's not really touch screen, but it's that kind of touch vibe of button. And I think that's like the kind of thing that you can't just fix by opening it up and changing things. Like maybe there's more complicated electronics. And you know, like I think it's just an example of like just because you can do a technology doesn't mean it's the best solution for a problem. Because you know, he when he was testing it, I was watching him. He just turns on the machine, tries to press the button, presses a few other buttons that were working, tries the other button again, which is exactly what I did. I have no training in dishwasher fixing, and the guy who does have training does the exact same process, and then sort of ums and ahs and is like wanting to get us some more parts, which probably means replacing the whole front door again, rather than just being able to take apart a piece of the door and replace it. No, you've got to replace the whole damn door, and it didn't even work the first time, so yeah. Whereas in the past, like when you think of someone repairing an appliance, you'd think they'd actually take a thing apart, change the component that's faulty, and there you go. But no, you can't do it, or it doesn't seem like you can do it with this kind of thing, which is just modern technology. Like yes, that we've done some amazing things. For example, smartphones, amazing the progress that we made like over the past few years. The first smartphones were, you know, like, why would you bother? But today's smartphones are heaps useful. Okay, cool. And we've improved touchscreen technology. Cool. You can touch it in more than one place at the same time and it won't freak out like the old smartboards we had at school where, you know, you can only have one person drawing on it at a time. Um, okay, great. We've got all this amazing technology, but that doesn't mean it's the best technology for everything. For example, like my favorite example is FPOS terminals, and I don't know if you've seen like at like some cafes they have those fancy touchscreen FPOS things, and like you know you're pressing the screen to type in your PIN and all that kind of stuff. But what if you're blind? If you're blind, you can't feel your way around the screen and figure out where to press the buttons. And like you know, if you try and have like some kind of audio guide, I don't know how that works. Really inefficient kind of thing. You don't want to ask someone for help because then they know your PIN kind of thing. And it's just like, if you're blind, how are you supposed to use those touchscreens just to pay for something? Just you know, it should be easier than that. I know you've got tap and go, but like, what if you're trying to pay for something more expensive and all they have is a touchscreen terminal? Like, fuck off with that shit. The little ones that have the buttons, they're the best. They work really well. You can feel where things are on the touchpad and you can get by your transaction if you're blind. I mean, you kind of still have to trust that the person's put the right amount in, but like, you can still do the thing. Um, and yeah, and then the other example that I like is with cars, right? You know, when you have all your aircon controls, you have your music controls, you have like the hazard lights button, you have the defogging buttons, blah 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 blah. And for a while there in some cars, they were making all that touchscreen kind of nonsense. You know, put a fancy screen in the car in the middle of the car that you have to touch. Whatever. The thing is, when you're driving, you have to keep your eyes on the road. You don't have time to be like making sure your finger is pressing the right button for whatever function you're trying to do. Um, I'm just like, I'm glad my family doesn't like upgrade things unnecessarily. Like, we've had the same cars for, I don't know, ages, and they have real buttons. So, like, I don't do much driving, but I did some driving a couple weeks ago, maybe. And first, like, I was driving a lot further than I usually drive as well. And yeah, being able to touch the buttons to change settings, so much easier than if I had to fuck around with a touchscreen, I gotta say. And I think car manufacturers are finally starting to realize that maybe touchscreens aren't the best solution for your car. Maybe real buttons are needed in some cases. And it's like if any of you guys ever fuck up trying to write something on your phone and it like I mean the autocorrect thing is annoying, but also like, you know, your finger's this big and you're trying to touch these tiny little buttons on an on-screen keyboard on your phone and it's just like I fucking hate it. This is so much better for typing shit, you know, like having a real keyboard with real keys and none of this touchscreen bullshit. Like, yes, amazing technology, well done, humanity coming up with that, but it's not the best solution for every application. It's just like, how did I get on this rant? Oh my god. Oh, the fucking dishwasher, yeah. Yeah, no. So I think, like, my parents already looked at a different dishwasher, and they, you know, they were just waiting to see if this one could be fixed. And I think the next one that they're looking at, if they order that one, will have buttons, like real buttons. So, you know, waiting to see what happens with that, because having to hand wash everything, and the amount of water it uses, especially like, I mean, we're fine now here in Sydney. We've had so much rain that they've wound back water restrictions a bit. We're now back to level 1 instead of level 2 water restrictions. And then it's been raining, so we haven't even needed to water the garden or anything. You know, bonsai and all that, they're all doing fine. But like when we were in the middle of the drought, you want to try not to use too much water. I mean, there's no restrictions on hand washing, dishwashing. We've never gotten that bad, but yeah, dishwashers are more water efficient than trying to wash stuff by hand. So yeah, convenient, and it solves a sort of environmental kind of problem. Wow. Anyway, so that's my rant about things that have gone wrong. I don't think there's anything else too bad in the past week. Let me think. I'm just a bit vague about all the things I'm doing. Hey, I've got Facebook open. I can have a quick look at what I've been doing the past week. But you know, if you, yeah, no, if you have something you wanna talk about, because I've got no real plans for this live stream. Let's see. When did I? It was on Monday last week. I live streamed, isn't it? Oh well. Oh well. Yeah. I don't think I've really done anything else that's that exciting. Oh, fucking Doctor Who. Who watches Doctor Who? How annoying was that last episode? Should I talk about it though? Because I don't want to like give spoilers if people haven't seen it and they actually care about it. Anyone watch Doctor Who? I don't like Chibnall. I don't think he really, I don't know, I feel like he sort of mixed up the continuity a bit, and yeah, I'm kind of grumpy about it. I mean, it's bad enough that he's done a whole bunch of like politically correct stuff like in a not intelligent way. Like if you're gonna approach, I think Doctor Who and like other TV shows like that every now and then will like they will explore a topic that's like about society and whatever, but they usually, like, you know, the ones that do it well do it intelligently, whereas Chibnall seems to just be like, here's a thing that I believe in and I'm just gonna smack you over the face with it with no subtlety at all. Just like super awkward this season, some of that shit popping up. And then there's the excessive character development where they just break up the action for a moment. They stop the action for a couple of the characters to have a deep and meaningful conversation, and you're just like, I don't give a shit. Get back to the story. Like, come on. There are ways to explore character interactions without completely stopping all action just for them to have a chit chat. Like, yeah, I don't know, Doctor Who. Super disappointing, but it's been disappointing for ages. I mean, wasn't a fan of Moffat's writing either. Davies, yeah, he was alright. It's just like, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I didn't really like David Tennant's Doctor. I preferred Eccleston's Doctor, but maybe that's just because I'm grumpy and David Tennant's one was more of a happy, human-loving Doctor, and I'm like, no. But no, Moffat, I think he's a really good writer when he's just doing one-off episodes and someone is in control of him, but when you give him the control, he just goes too far and messes, like, he messed up a lot of continuity as well. Mr. Candyman, hi! Hello! Yeah, up earlier than normal. So, yeah, hopefully this is giving more people a chance to come along. How am I? Yeah, no, I'm doing okay. I just have like heaps bad hay fever whenever I'm up this early. So, well, I get up early, but usually I would do all my sneezing off camera. So if I run away to grab tissues, it's not like I have any virus, it's just hay fever. It's like every morning is like this, but it's been a lot worse lately. Just, I think the humidity changing, the weather changing, and all that. Um, yeah, no, Doctor Who. So Moffat was annoying. Every now and then there'd be something good, but mostly like his writing was annoying. And they're like the grand speeches. Oh my god, like just calm down your ego. And then the some of the grand plots as well. Trying to hit 30. What do you mean 30? I don't understand. Oh shit, I didn't change my settings either. So sometimes, YouTube chat will like hide people if it thinks that you're, if it thinks that people, sorry, my fingers, I usually put my camera the other way. But yeah, just check that I didn't miss any comments, because sometimes, YouTube tries to hide comments if it thinks it's inappropriate. And I think usually it catches them okay, but, I don't trust YouTube to figure out what is like. They turned on some setting, to automatically pick up, dodgy comments or whatever, and they were picking up comments from like 3 months ago that I'd even replied to. So like, obviously they're not dodgy comments, and I'm just like, good work, YouTube. You're trying to hit 30 subs. Oh, well, good luck with that. It's a lot harder to, can you sub? I don't do that sort of sub for sub thing. I don't subscribe to many people because like if there's so much stuff popping up in my feed, I can't keep up. It's the same thing on Instagram. It's just like I can't handle that many things. And I don't really like sub just because someone asks me. Like I have to watch the videos and be like, okay, I like that stuff. I want to see more. So asking me for subs is not really a good strategy. I'm going to say you've got to work on your content and try more intelligent ways to promote. Yeah, it's a lot harder to get started on YouTube these days, though, I think, because, you've got all these high budget creators nowadays and people who do like a fuck ton of planning. And yeah, whereas I started when it was the free for all. So, um, yeah, no, good luck with the whole thing. But just saying, can you sub to me is not a good strategy. Anyway, Doctor Who stuff. I'm guessing like no one really watches Doctor Who because I'm not getting any comments about that. But yeah, no, Moffat's writing was annoying. I did hope that when Chibnall took over that things would get better, but no! It's gotten worse. I like the way they did the female doctor thing. They didn't make it some big, like, girly kind of thing. She forgets that she's a chick sometimes, which I find quite amusing. And yeah, but, like, almost everything else has been annoying. Early on, like, the first couple of, episodes with her were okay, but this season I was just like, oh my god. There was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes that I wasn't cringing so much, but yeah. I don't know why I still watch. I think because, like, I just hope it'll go back to being good at some point, but I think Chibnall's gonna be around for ages, so it's gonna suck for a long time. And I guess, like, maybe I could just stop watching until a better writer comes along, like one who actually understands the continuity and isn't, like, has some intelligent writing that's not trying to, like, smack you in the face with a message all the time. But if I stop watching, then I might miss things, and then I come back and they've changed the entire mythology, and you're like, what? But yeah, anyway. So no one's interested in Doctor Who, that's fine, we'll move on. No, well, I guess YouTube related things. So, I've finally finished editing the next Punk Rave Australia video and I've sent that off. So, I'm just waiting to find out when I can post that up. Yeah, and it's kind of a long video. I guess you'll see why when it goes up because it wasn't the most straightforward one to film this time. Also, if you're the kind of person who, like, when I start saying, thank you everyone for watching, subscribe to me, subscribe to them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, if you're the kind of person who turns off the video at that point, I stuck some stuff at the end of the video. So, like, either, like, You know how you can hover your mouse above the little play line, the timeline thing? If you hover to the bit, like I've got like some photos at the very end, and so you can just sort of skip the part where I'm going like, thanks for watching, blah, 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 skip to those photos. Because yeah, I sort of changed up the outro, because some of you who follow me on Instagram, and then if you're also on my Patreon, would know that I actually take more photos than I need for my Instagram. Just because, like, I don't have a photographer or anything. I'm just yelling at my phone to take photos of me, like saying cheese, and then I have like 3 seconds to pose. And it's a really hard way to take photos, because I can't wait until I'm actually in a good position. I have to like be like, okay, pose, and hope that I get everything right. So I take a lot of photos, and I should share them on my Patreon a bit more, though I just haven't been organized, but I'll try and do that. But yeah, no, there were quite a few photos that I was like, oh, I kind of want to share them. And then also because I was filming in not so great light, like I use natural lighting for those videos out in the other room, and it's just been raining for ages in Sydney. So like I couldn't wait for better lighting. So when I'm doing the twirls in that video, it's not as clear as usual. So I chucked these extra photos at the end so you can really see the outfit that I'm wearing, and it's kind of cute. And yeah, I just thought, make things a little bit different. Yeah, so there's some extra photos at the end of that video, which will be coming out, well, I would say by the end of the week. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to get that going. But I've also actually got to finish making the Instagram post, and I've got to finish putting in the YouTube video details and all that. So yeah, no, it takes a while, hey. But I'm happy with my computer. Like, at first when I was rendering video, it was like rendering in real time, but now it's rendering in better than real time, and the computer itself doesn't even like it's not using its full capacity to do these videos, not at all. It's like it's so chill. It's like, yeah, rendering this video is the easiest thing ever. If I tried to render all that shit on my old computer, it'd take like 4 times as long as the video actually is, maybe, to render it. Like, I'd just be waiting for ages, and it would be super noisy and complaining, whereas this new computer has just been great. Oh, shit. Okay, now that I've finished the Punk Rave Australia video, I can start editing my Alienware unboxing. I've also got another Disturbed song that I filmed like last year. I think there's a weird bit in that as well where like there's an echo in the Disturbed song, and instead of using effects to make the echo, I just stand back from the microphone and yell at it from a distance. So you'll be able to watch me being silly while also trying to do the vocal thing. I have a feeling when I post it up, some of the people who are expecting a good cover will see that bit and be like, oh my god, you're an idiot. And I also probably overdid the grit in my voice for that. I just thought I'd have a bit of fun. I actually filmed it before I did my Christmas performance at the Townie, but it's the same basic technique. Just at the Townie, I didn't do the echoing thing. I was actually singing the echoing thing on stage, but I didn't let anyone see that I was singing it, and I didn't sing it into the microphone. Trying not to be that lame. Yeah, when am I gonna perform again? I don't know. But no, I don't know, I've got to film a couple more things. I've got some time, like, this week and next week, so I got to film a couple more things, but there's some other videos coming about my bonsai, and then also some other plants. Is that everything I've got? I don't know. And then, yeah, I had some more ideas on stuff I wanted to do for YouTube. Oh my god, there's so many things I've been wanting to do, but I've just been so busy, and it's like, how do you manage your time? Especially with 2020 being the dick that it is, and just wanting to mess up everything. Yeah, no, it's just, it's kind of like that. Alright, well, what else can we ramble about? I can hang around until 12:30. After that, though, like, I really need to have some lunch, and then I've got heaps of stuff to do. I need to do some singing practice. I'm really trying to get better at my newer style of growl. If you watch my performance video of The Truth, actually, I think both videos of The Truth, I'm using a newer kind of growl that is still false chord based, but it's got more grit in it, and I'm really trying to get better at it, get better at controlling the amount of air I'm using, try and get some more control over the tone and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of practice of that today. Um, and then, oh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I know. Oh no, then I have to do my work from home job. But I have to wait, like, because it's connected to an international company, I've got to wait um, until, like, the time when they actually send me the stuff that I need to do. Um, yeah, Mondays I don't have to wait, but Tuesdays onwards, it gets a little bit like that. I feel like I should log in early, though, because there's some Aussie-based stuff that I probably have to do, but what time will I do that? I don't know. Anyway, that's me and my work from home kind of things. But no, I'll do the singing practice first, and then I'll do the money stuff, and then yeah, I think one of my friends might be coming over because I've got stuff that I need to rant about, but I need to rant it in person to someone who can like bounce back the right kind of stuff at me. So any new onesies? I don't know if anyone's selling, like, do people still sell onesies? There used to be a shop in Newtown that had just like heaps of them across a wall, but I mean, I haven't been to Newtown in ages, but I think onesies like were a brief fad, and now it's really hard to find them unless you go online, I suppose. But you used to be able to just buy them in the shops. I think they're not fashionable, or they're not in, so yeah, it's harder to find them. So no, unfortunately, no new onesies. And like, I haven't worn them in ages. I haven't had a reason to. Honestly, mostly I just stay at home. Especially, like, that's the thing about a work from home job, is like I don't have to go anywhere to do that, which is probably a good thing considering everyone's freaked out about the stupid coronavirus stuff. Not gonna have any problems, if there's a work shutdown or whatever. Although, like, the company that it's connected to, I suppose they could shut down and then it would be annoying. But nah, mostly fine. But yeah, no, I don't really go anywhere. And then when I'm at home, I just wear lazy clothes, like, lazy pants, my hunten if I get cold. So I don't really need a onesie. And like onesie, they are kind of annoying if you need to go to the toilet. Like the Pikachu one has that little flap that you can just open up, but the dragon one, nah, you pretty much have to take the whole thing off if you want to go to the toilet. And it's like, well, the whole point was to keep you warm, and now you're not warm. Good one. So yeah, I don't know. Like I wore them to uni when I was doing that like ages ago. My undergrad. I wore. Oh no, that was actually after my undergrad. Like I went back to do some extra study. Oh my god, I'm still sniffling. Don't touch your face, they say, as they all touch their faces. Um, yeah, no, that was my, like, I was sort of going for a second undergrad for a while there, but then I was like, nah, I don't need it. But, yeah, I wore it a couple of times there. Because, like, there was a teacher who I knew from when I actually did my first degree, and he's kind of funny, and so he's like, a day to come dressed as a zombie or whatever, and I'm like, I do one better. Turn up as a Pikachu or a dragon. But yeah, that was ages ago. So I still have them in my wardrobe, but I haven't needed. I think the last time I wore the dragon one might have been at a Rainbow Death Ray gig. So like a friend's wedding, like they were getting married and they wanted to have like a gig with some of their favorite bands, and so yeah. A wall scroll off Berserk. Found out it shipped from China. I'm gonna tell the post office to trash it, or maybe I'll have to wear a hole and trash it myself. I think you'll be fine. Like the virus doesn't survive very long on items. I think it survives. Oh, was it metal that it survives longest on? I don't know, but like it'll be fine, and like as long as you're not elderly or have some really bad health condition, you'll be fine. And yeah, stuff doesn't survive that long, really. So I wouldn't worry about it. It'll be fine, to be honest. Yeah, I guess you could spray it with Glen 20, asthmatic. Yeah, okay. Well, if you have asthma, like, I guess it's a respiratory virus, so there's a little bit there. But to be honest, like, it doesn't survive that long on surfaces. I'm personally not worried about things shipping from China. But then I'm pretty cynical of the whole thing. I really do think the media has been quite irresponsible in making people, panic more than they should. Um, because yeah, no, I watch some of the stuff on the TV and I'm just like, oh my god. They're talking about, oh, it's a deadly virus. It's not really. It's only deadly to like the tiniest proportion of the population. Most of us will be fine. Um, the death rate is coming down because they're realizing actually more people have it and nothing's happened to them. Open the package and drink a few Coronas. Yeah, why not? I probably would, except I don't drink alcohol, so yeah. But no, my brother was saying if he caught it, he'd go around singing that My Sharona song, but change it to My Corona. I'm just like, oh my god. Oh dear, oh dear. But he's he's worried that his job will, like, if anyone at his job gets it, they'll shut the place down. And he's like, but then what am I gonna do at lunch? Lunch is like when they can play basketball and shit. Apple juice with the Corona label. Okay, I don't know that one. Do we have it here? I haven't, like, I don't really go out that much, so yeah, I don't know what things are out there these days. Yeah, you've been singing it too. Oh my god. Yeah, like I was saying earlier in the stream, my friend who started the meme page, I'm just like, yep, yep, alright then. And I love the Seinfeld toilet paper episode clips that keep popping up at the moment. Like Seinfeld is such a good show, but yeah, no. Be interesting to see, like, I don't think you could really revive it in a modern context because like now we've got smartphones and stuff that'd really change things up a bit. But yeah, no, it was a great show. Anyway, yeah, no, the media annoys me. Oh, deadly virus. It's not a fucking deadly virus. It's a virus that spreads quickly. It's a different dynamic. Um, and then yeah, there's a lot of like bullshit going around. And then there's like, I think there was someone who, like, someone official maybe, who said, be prepared but don't panic kind of thing. And I think people misinterpreted be prepared. Like, be prepared is just like, things might get worse, just sort of be ready for that possibility. But people have thought, be prepared! Oh, I gotta buy all the toilet paper! Like, oh my god, guys, calm down. Like, there's better ways to manage this. And I don't know. And to be honest, like, I think it's already quite widespread in the population. They say, oh, all these cases have jumped overnight. That's just confirmed cases. It's not like 50 people suddenly caught it overnight. It means that 50 tests came back positive, and they've been testing a lot of people, and then there's a lot of people who aren't getting tested because they don't show symptoms. So, like, we don't actually know how many people have this virus. And because it's actually quite a mild virus, most people we won't ever know that they have the virus. Like, people are probably getting the virus who will never know they had it, because it's like, there have been enough cases of people showing no symptoms. And if you think, like, this has been going around since November last year maybe, and China didn't shut anything down for ages. Is there a respiratory virus that people are afraid of shooting themselves to death? The fear of not being able to wipe. Yeah, well, you would think that it was like a diarrhea virus or something by the way people are acting, which it isn't. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so like China didn't shut anything down for ages. It took them a while to even report that there was a problem. In the meantime, people are moving around, many of them probably not having symptoms, and then like, because of the way our global world is, that stuff spreads really fast. I think there's a lot more cases than we know about, and I think if they could test and find every single person who has it, I think the death rate would be much lower. And I think it kind of, like, the whole quarantine thing, I'm not surprised that it's not working. Like, that boat that was in Japan, and they're like, ooh, the quarantine measures aren't working. And, they're like, oh, so we found this many people overnight have the virus. Monty will hear the sound of... Oh, God. I hope not. Oh, dear. But yeah, you know, that boat. So, this number of people have now caught the virus and blah, 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 blah. But that's just people who were tested. Like, they weren't testing everyone straight away. And, you know, there was one person they reckon it started from. But that person was on the boat for a while, mixing with people for a while, who then mixed with other people. Like, how do we know that quarantine didn't work? What if they already had the virus before quarantine started and it either just took that long to show symptoms or just took that long to get tested? Because there were people on that boat who had it but had no symptoms as well. There was like one couple where I think, was it maybe the chick had it but the guy didn't? And they're roughly the same age, and it was just like the luck of how your body reacts to it. But yeah, no, when they talk about, ooh, quarantine didn't work, they didn't do enough, I'm just like, they've been on this boat for ages, together, not quarantined. You know, you don't know how it was spreading before the quarantine. Like, yay, they found one person. Doesn't mean that was the only person who had the virus on the whole boat the whole time until quarantine. So, yeah. And then the fact that they don't really make a fuss of how many people have recovered. Like, I think in Sydney, maybe at least half the people who've had the virus confirmed have gotten better already. And there were people who got better ages ago. Yeah, there's no fuss like, oh, there's all these people have been infected, but how many have recovered? Quite a lot, you know. I don't like the way the media emphasizes the negatives and then also the way they report testing and the way they report confirmed cases versus like who the hell has it. Passing it to people while doing then the boat party got out of hand. Hey, like that could have happened before quarantine. Although it's Princess Cruises, which I think is a little bit more upmarket. Not like, which one's the real party one? I think maybe P&O is the real party one. You know, that gets a bad reputation. I've only been on one cruise and it was not for me. There's too many people and you have to wait for every activity because there's like nothing else to do unless you're in port. So yeah, everyone lines up for the same shit and you're just like, ugh. Oh my god, waiting in an hour and a half just to go rock climbing. I could go rock climbing in Sydney, wait no amount of time, and just like have a whole day of rock climbing, you know? But on a fucking boat, no, you gotta wait an hour and a half and you can only do it once that day. I don't understand it. I don't understand the appeal. Like, I guess if you hate flying in an aeroplane and you really want to go somewhere, maybe a boat's the way to do it. But in the meantime, you're on the boat where people are doing really terrible karaoke to songs that you don't know because you're a metalhead. I don't even know a lot of metal songs though, because yeah, I still try to buy CDs when I can. I haven't really bought anything in ages though. My relationship with music has gotten a bit weird, I think, since Rainbow Death Ray and then getting depressed for a bit and then coming out of it and sort of trying to find my way back into music. But yeah, no. I'm hoping this year will be a better one for music for me. You know, whether I get back on stage more, whether I write more songs, or if it comes to it, if I just do covers on YouTube. You know, one way or another, I'm going to make music a bit more of a thing for me this year. Have been working on some stuff, but I don't really want to say too much because, like, if it doesn't go anywhere, I don't want people to get excited. Because a few years back, I thought I had a project that was going to go somewhere, and yeah, here we are a few years later with so far nothing really happening. And yeah, I was excited and I was vague posting on Facebook and then nothing happened and I'm like, wow, that was a waste of, you know. Anyway, so, you know, I've got a few different things that I'm working on, trying out, you know, little plans and things, but, you know, it's 2020 as well. God knows, like, I'll probably get quarantined for having too much hay fever and then I won't be able to do anything. Although, I have my microphone, I can do stuff in my house. So that's one thing about being a soloist, is I don't have to go anywhere. I've got everything in my room too, because, you know, I'm still living at home with my parents. I can't put stuff in other places in the house, so everything is in my room pretty much. Although I've got to move some stuff back in because I moved some stuff out while we were getting the aircon in and I still haven't put it back together, but, you know, I'll get to that at some point. Because at some point the parents will be like, hey, you've had your stuff here for a while, can you get rid of it? I do need to throw some stuff out though. We had a household cleanup recently though, So they're not going to do another one for 6 months, you know, where like the council comes along and picks up all your shit. But that means I've got 6 months to figure out what I want to get rid of. So mostly like my two-dimensional art stuff, because I've decided that's not for me. I looked for new bookshelves today. IKEA. Oh my god, IKEA is a nightmare, isn't it? Like, even when you've been online to find exactly the thing that you want, you go there and you're like, oh my god, this is a fucking maze. Where am I supposed to go? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have space for any new furniture, really. It's pretty crowded in here. It's probably a good thing I've stopped buying stuff because I just have no space. Yeah, I need to get rid of things. And I think because I'm older and like, I don't know, I just don't care as much about the stuff that I have. I guess I'm past that phase where it felt like if I bought the right things, maybe my life would be better. I don't think I ever thought about it that way, but I think subconsciously, you know, you buy things thinking, you know, this will make me feel better. I almost gave up finding my way out. Oh. Yeah, I've only been to IKEA once, and once was enough for me, I gotta say. I think, like, I don't know, I don't need new furniture, so I don't need to think about it. And, you know, my family, we try and get hand-me-downs from the relatives anyway. So, yeah, I bought this desk from IKEA because I really needed, like, something for my music setup, especially at the time. And I was just like, what kind of desk will work? And this was the one that I felt worked the best. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's turned out like, you know, it's working for me with my new computer setup. It just fit in there with enough space to not worry too much about airflow. Yeah, but otherwise, everything else, pretty old. What about if you get more dragons in your EX? No, I'm done buying dragons, I think. I think I'm done. I have no desire to buy more dragons. Every now and then I'll be able to shop and I'll be like, oh, that's really cool. But I won't buy it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I used to be really into buying that kind of stuff. And although actually a lot of that stuff I either made myself or someone gave it to me. Especially like the sort of Chinese dragons. Yeah. Yeah, I think actually almost all of it I either made or someone gave to me. Like even Slifer was given to me. The dragon at the very top, the sort of wooden one, that's the one. That wooden one. I did buy from a market and then built it. And then realized what a dust trap it is. It's annoying to have to clean that up every now and then. Yeah, no. Most of my dragons I think are gifts or self-made. But no, I used to buy more stuff. So what else do I have? Yeah, I got lots of little knickknacks. But there was definitely a point. I've got like my Egypt shelf. I've got, you know, on my shelf tours video playlist. I've also got that one about my Egypt shelf. Hey! Yeah, I'm doing alright. I got no ants anymore though. I don't know if you saw my final ant video. Yeah. Anyway, but that they kind of was taking up space in my room, and once the action stopped, it's kind of like, should I? Although there have been a lot of caterpillars in the garden, and I'm just like, if I had an ant nest, my god, I would be so many caterpillars. It's unbelievable. Like I was trying to kill them by hand at first, and there was so many, and then I found like all these little caterpillar eggs and all these tiny little caterpillars, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just gonna cut the entire leaf off. And so some of the plants I've been working on just have no leaves now. But they're starting to grow back. So I got rid of all the caterpillars, hopefully, and then the new growth is coming through. So I think I've saved those plants. But yeah, I just don't have any ants left to feed them to. And towards the end, the ants weren't energetic enough to really care about the caterpillars that I was trying to feed them. So yeah, I think over winter last year, maybe things just sort of slowed down a lot, and you know, maybe I didn't really have a queen or anything. Maybe they were just running on like old eggs or something, or yeah, I don't know, it just sort of died out. Ants are real numb and took over. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, it's too late. but there are like ants in the garden, and so one day I put a sort of half squashed caterpillar in the path of some ants, and they seemed happy with that. But yeah, there's not enough ants to kill the caterpillars that I need them to. Um, but I'll show you. I'll see if I can show you the video. Did I film anything about the caterpillars? I don't think I did, but I can show you the stuff that I've been growing. Coronavirus taking over. Coronavirus. I think the real threat of coronavirus is the overreaction to it or the excessive attempt to try and stop it when it's already too widespread. I think, like, you know, it's out there. It's out there. I don't think governments are going to be able to stop it. They can try to slow it down, but I think it's already out in the population. There's too many people who don't have symptoms. You can't find those people and quarantine them. They're out there. Any of us could have it. Like, we don't know for sure. And yeah, but meanwhile, governments are freaking out, shutting down, you know, business and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's where the real tricky stuff is going to be. Although, like I mentioned last time, with the less pollution in China, some people will be better off because they're actually breathing cleaner air. And also the petrol prices coming down, that's a good thing. You know, combining like China using less oil and then I think, what is it, Russia and OPEC are having a fight at the moment. The mental illness of being afraid of not being able to wake up. Oh man. Yeah, no. OPEC and Russia are having a fight at the moment, and so now they're having a price war, and they're producing more oil when there's a sudden period of less demand, and I'm just like, good. The prices should fucking come down. It shows you how overpriced oil has been for the last I don't know how long. I think that's one of the better things to come out of all the coronavirus overreactions. But there is going to be a lot more problem for, like, you know, they're trying to tell people to stay home rather than go to work. And obviously, for casual workers, that's not really a great thing. So, you know what China did? They get the thing than anyone and they shut down the whole country. Don't listen to Chinese statements. It's all propaganda. This virus is different. I'm not, like, I think China's actually done quite well this time compared to like SARS. Like it still took them a while to say anything about it, but then they've actually tried to do stuff or at least give the impression that they're doing stuff. You know, like building 2 hospitals, which I haven't looked at the quality of the hospitals, but they're trying. And I don't think their statistics are that bad because, you know, now it's moved to places like South Korea, and South Korea, we know they've got a better health system and they've got better testing and all that kind of stuff. And so we've been able to get better data from them. And yeah, so I don't know that the propaganda argument is really relevant anymore. I think we've been able to test it away from China, and so we've got better information now. But that's not stopping the media from going crazy, and that's not stopping governments from freaking out. They did a good job of giving infected people plane tickets. Italy shut down the whole country now. Yeah. Yeah, well, like, you know, all those shutdowns, I don't think it's going to really work that well. I mean, they do say in China that things are slowing down, like the spread's slowing down, but you know, like it's just sort of, it's hard to see where things are going to go. Like, okay, things are slowing down in China, but at what point are they going to decide it's okay to start up again? Because presumably if you start too early, then people will just start getting infected again. Also, like, if all of China is shut down, and let's say they get rid of it in China, right? Meanwhile, the rest of the world, it's sort of spreading because it's hard to track all the people that have it, especially the ones without symptoms. At what point is China going to reopen and get in contact with those other people around the world? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to, supplies are hard to get, all stores empty. Yeah, that's because people are stupid. They're overreacting like crazy. You know, and then shutting down all this economic stuff. China supplies a lot of companies, so a lot of companies are running out of supplies to keep making the things that they make. I feel like some of the economic stuff is probably, if depending on how they do it and how long it goes and all that, there's a chance that they'll be doing more harm than if they just let the virus run its course. I mean, it's a bit hard to say, and obviously with older people and people with underlying conditions, they're the ones who are most at risk. But for the rest of us, it sometimes is a bit disproportionate. I gotta say, point being, I'm not panicking about the virus. I'm more concerned about all the responses to it. Yeah. But the oil price coming down is one of the better side effects of it. China supplies the world. It's found that the world has such a reliance on China. Yeah, that I think has been made quite clear with this, and it'd be interesting to see if any lessons are learned, because the world's a lot more connected than it used to be. But as I mentioned earlier, Australia manufactures a lot of its own toilet paper, so we'll be fine. Oh man, but the virus is already out there. This is how many people are infected. Bullshit. Heaps more people are infected. Because you can't, there's even people where they're like, how did this person even come in contact with the virus? They don't know still. And I think that's just because it's already out there. It's too late, really. Oil prices are going down, but gas over here has actually increased. Oh, okay. I haven't kept up with that side of things. It's just, I mean, I'm not a politician, I'm not a health person, so maybe there's something I'm missing, but it just seems to me that the media is making things worse, and then governments, because they want to be seen to be doing something, I feel like some of them have gone overboard. But hey, I'm just a random on the internet, what can I do? Guesses. Okay. Alright. I think prices are coming down in Sydney, but I don't really drive that much, so I don't pay as much attention, but they are expecting price. When you say gas, do you mean for your car? Because we just call that petrol. I know sometimes the variations in the English language can be quite confusing. Waiting for that price drop. Yeah. Are you talking about the petrol that you put in the car? Because we don't call that gas. Okay, we don't call that gas. I guess that's why I'm confused. So I think prices are starting to come down in Sydney, but hey, I don't have to buy any of it, so yay me. But I do think it's sort of been overpriced all this time. Oh, man. I don't know. I guess it'd be interesting to watch how the coronavirus thing happens, but I'm personally not panicking, and I'm annoyed with how the media presents stuff, and I'm annoyed with how some of the talk is going around it, and some of the actions that have been taken for it. I'm just like, it's not like a zombie infection, right? One of those movies where one person gets it and before you know the entire city is full of zombies. It's nothing like that, but some people are acting as if it is. And I'm just like, oh my god, guys, calm the fuck down. Oh. Anyway, was there anything that I was already talking about that I went on got distracted, went on a tangent that you want me to go back to? Sometimes I just especially with live streaming, because you can have all these comments pop up. You might have a train of thought, and I feel like maybe I had a train of thought and then lost it and can't remember what it is. I'm fit, so shut up from the coronavirus. Your fitness. Younger people and healthier people will be fine, pretty much. You'd have to be pretty unlucky for coronavirus to do much to you. It's more if, you do distract me. It really is mainly a problem if you're elderly or have certain health conditions. It works for me. So, sandpaper quality toilet paper. Stuff. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, no, I've heard things about people trying to sell ridiculously expensive toilet paper. Oops. People have been trying to sell stuff, on eBay and Gumtree for stupid prices, and it was like, oh my god. Oh my god, it's not the apocalypse. Calm the fuck down, people. Ugh. It'd almost be better for us to just all get the virus and get it over with, It's going to take them that long to come up with a vaccine anyway. Like, if they did it in a year, that would be ridiculously fast, with the way those things are developed. So, like, if you're not being well, I sell flushable wipes. Oh my god. No, flushable wipes you shouldn't actually flush because they still get caught in the system. Oh, old-fashioned way, no toilet paper. No, okay, so in Australia, we have eucalyptus trees. Is it a eucalyptus tree? We've got this tree called the paperbark tree. Just get one of those trees and you'll be sweet, sustainable paper right off the tree. Oh, yeah, I used to try and draw on those when I was a kid because, they call them paperbark, but they're kind of fragile. It's like, you peel a layer off and it's quite thin. You could peel a few layers off and it sticks together a bit better. But then you try and put your pen on it and the pen just sort of goes through it or makes this massive dent. So not really great for drawing, but might work as toilet paper. Oh man. Oh. Thinking about the way, so like, people are having fights in shopping centers over toilet paper. I'm just like, oh my god, how stupid. Like, calm the fuck down, people. But what can you do? Winter is probably still too rough. No, they're actually surprisingly soft. If you ever come to Australia, find yourself a paperbark tree, and it's I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like it's got layers of tissue paper, but kind of compact. Is that a good description of the paperbark tree? I'm not sure, but yeah, it's better than using leaves, I gotta say. If you got really desperate, paperbark tree. Oh man, but I've also heard of people like stocking up on seeds, and I mean, spoiler alert for video coming up. Maybe I've mentioned it already, but we've been growing our own vegetables, and it's not that easy because you are constantly fighting caterpillars, for example. It's like why go to a dangerous supermarket and get attacked by some savage soccer mom you can purchase from the back of my van. I'm here, but never tried wiping it, but I'll take your word that it's soft. No, just go and touch the tree. Touch the tree. I mean, the tree might have a Me Too movement, but, no, have you ever touched I mean, I don't know, I guess maybe our paperbark trees could be different, because I know, like, different places have different trees with same names, but yeah, if you just touch the, like, it's almost, on some trees, it's practically peeling off the tree, just by itself. Yeah, well, yeah, let's not get into the Me Too stuff. I think it started in a good place, but some people took it a bit far. It's like every form of activism, really. They tend to start with good intentions, but then there'll be some nutcase or who just goes too far. Or like people get carried away sometimes, and then the people who were still focused on the central cause of the movement, they tend to get ignored and everything gets a bit skewed, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, no, there's, like, politics is so tricky because people are tricky, because our evolution still affects the way that we think now, but the way that most of us live now doesn't require those things that evolution gave us that were originally designed to stop us dying out in the wild, Huh? What? I don't know what you mean there. No, I don't know. I try to stay away from politics, but it's kind of, it just always pops up on the news. You can't really get away from it, so. And I mean, even something like coronavirus, you get political undertones here and there, and it's just like, oh my god, you can't get away. And then what? You've got like the whole American election cycle. It's unbelievable how long it takes America to do election type things. Like, wow, if we had our Aussie campaign start this long, I mean, I know that like at this stage of the American thing, it's still just about choosing candidates, but it still sort of feels like it's already started. Whereas like in Australia, how long do, like, they declare the election and then a few weeks later, pretty much, that's it? I think maybe I've missed a cultural reference there. There's some things, you know, some things on the internet, I guess I miss out on. So I have no idea what you guys are going on about right now. But yeah, no, watching the American stuff. I've tried to avoid all that kind of stuff, and yeah, you kind of can't. And it's just like the whole way that it's done in America is bizarre to me. I know you guys are making a joke, but I don't understand it because I feel like maybe I've missed some kind of reference. But that's okay, as long as you guys are having fun, I guess. um, but yeah, no, America. So like the Democrats have to fight each other first to decide who gets to fight Trump. And I feel like that's kind of a flawed process because then Trump can just look at what the Democrats were saying about each other, like the nasty things they're saying about each other. And it's sort of like you could just watch that and get your research on like how do I attack these people? Well, they said this. They kind of did all the research already. And then also like so many candidates that kind of seemed interesting just dropped out all of a sudden, and now it's like it's Bernie and Biden, and I just don't think that I don't think it's looking good for them. Politics all corrupt. I wouldn't say all corrupt. Anytime you say all, yeah, I'd just be careful with that kind of generalist language because all, no, I'm sure there are some people who still try to do the right thing, but they're less likely to get far. Um, yeah, and then, it's hard to, yeah, like you got to give people a chance. Like, yes, with stereotypes, the reason stereotypes exist, Biden, the pool guy, oh my gosh. The reason stereotypes exist is because there's a basis in truth to an extent. Like, stereotypes, what's an easy one? Like, the stereotype of women being caring, for example. On average, it's true. Like, if you think about it, through history, women have traditionally had to do more of the caring stuff. So, a stereotype appears that women are more caring. But obviously, there are chicks out there who don't give a shit and who are dickheads and all that. So, but the stereotype exists because, on average, it's true. And something I've sort of wondered about is like, BBC stereo. I don't really know anything about BBC. I've heard that the BBC is a little bit overly politically correct or something, but I haven't bothered to look at it because we don't have the BBC here. So, what do I care? But no, like, so stereotypes. I think stereotypes probably are like the reason, like noticing patterns. Like, stereotypes are about noticing patterns. And noticing patterns, if you think about evolution, they could potentially save your life if you're in one of those, like, wild situations. Like, say you're out in, we came out of Africa. Say there's, like, lions in a certain area and you notice some pattern, like maybe there's a certain sequence of events before a lion comes to attack or something, like say maybe you notice a certain type of bird is always running away, and you're like, shit, there's a pattern, there could be a lion, you should run first. Not ask questions, not like, ooh, am I making a politically correct judgment about a lion just because of these birds? No, you should get the fuck out of there because if there is a lion, you'll be dead, What happens in Vegas stereotype. Yeah, I guess so, because like people go there to party, so a lot of crazy stuff does happen there. But then there's people like when Mum and I visited Las Vegas. Obviously, we're not really party animals, so it was a very tame experience. Yeah, so fight or flight, tend to fight. Fighting all the time isn't always the smartest option. Sometimes just getting out of there is better, but you kind of have to weigh up the situation. But like, I hope it would have been better if I'd come up with like a proper example. But I think stereotypes are rooted in our evolution in the sense of like, if you notice a pattern, it could save your life to have that, like, here's a thing I've noticed, I should get away. And I think that's where they come from, and that's why we still have them. But of course, they're not always. Oh, cringe. The thing is, today, like, we don't have lions just popping out of everywhere, and you know, if you think about like maybe a tribal conflict, if you had like two tribes who were tended to fight a lot, if you saw someone who looked like they were from that tribe, maybe you should run away because they might have a group who are about to attack you. Whereas today we still have people who act tribally, but overall, like, we live in, instead of living in small tribal groups, these days we live in massive cities, and we get on pretty damn well considering how many people are in these massive cities. So, judging someone by their appearance because you think they might be part of some tribe, it doesn't really apply today so much. But because it was so important to our evolution stuff doesn't just disappear, and you sort of have to use your brain and sort of be like, maybe I'm having an instinctive response to something, but that's not the reality of today. If that makes kind of sense. Just like virus work well, huh? I feel like I've missed a thought there. Um, but yeah, no. So I think the reason stereotypes exist is because they used to be useful, and sometimes today they can still be useful. Hope no, girls and assholes. No, I think. Oh my god, fuck off with your fucking leaf blower. Leaf blowers are the worst invention ever. I mean, it's even been raining all day and they still want to have a fucking leaf blower. Like, when all the leaves are wet, and so you're gonna have to use the blower on them, and like they're not gonna blow as easily. I fucking hate leaf blowers. Ugh. And then sometimes, like one time, we actually caught them like blowing the leaves into our driveway, and I'm just like, blow them into a pile and then sweep them up and throw them out. Don't just blow them around where they're gonna blow back anyway. Like, come on. Nice people. Huh? The virus doesn't act like that. It kills the people who are, um, yeah, like health wise weaker. Um, yeah, I guess like if say the people got into really big fights about toilet paper and started killing each other over it, maybe you get rid of some of the idiots, but you probably take out a lot of innocent people too who are just bystanders. Um, yeah, I wouldn't get your hopes up that the virus has any kind of benefit like that to society. Oh my god, fucking hate leaf blowers. Yeah. This is why I don't worry about doing my heavy metal screaming, because they have the leaf blower. It's not even musical, and it's not even like, pick up your leaves and put them in the bin and take them away. More leaves are just gonna fall anyway. Anyway. Seeing a launcher drinking a corona with the leaf blower just running away. No, I think they've got gardeners, and I think that's probably the reason that they're leaf blowing, even though it's super wet. Like, it's been raining, it's probably dried up. I don't have my windows open, so I don't know if there's sun now, but the leaves would still be soggy. Um, I think they just have gardeners who turn up all the time. Tempted to take the toilet paper off some guy's cart here, and a dozen packages. Oh. Well, yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, in Australia, a lot of the supermarket chains are only letting you buy one packet at a time now. Um, which it's it's super dumb that we have to babysit people like that. But if they're gonna be that stupid, you kind of have to. Like, when people complain about the nanny state, sometimes I think people are that stupid that you kind of have to do it. Like, Jim Jeffries does a good skit about that. He I can't remember what he was trying to make a point about. Maybe it was to do with gun control or something. It was either gun control or maybe drugs. And he was sort of saying, like, most people are fine drivers, whatever, but because this one dickhead decides he wants to do all this dickhead stuff, now we all have to wear seatbelts and stick to a speed limit, kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, because there's just enough stupid people out there, we have to come up with these nanny state rules. And the tricky part is negotiating the line between those laws being useful and being overbearing. Like everything, there's a balance, and it's just because there's so many people in our society that we're trying to deal with, and everyone's different, And, we're trying to do the best by everyone simultaneously, which is a big ask. Just enough stupid. I'm trying to be polite. I don't know. Sometimes when you see shit going on, you do think, like, how did humanity get as far as it has? Because every now and then something happens and you're just like, how are we still around? But yeah, I don't know. I guess we've got just enough brilliant people out there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's just nothing that can be done about that, honestly, without turning things into like some kind of horrible dictatorship. And population control, if you tried to electrolytes. Oh my god. Electrolytes. Oh fuck, yeah, that movie, hey. Oh man. I just need a moment. Just enough brilliant people to mitigate the massive issue. Well, because yeah, there are people who've been working on things like improving crop production, improving medicine, improving logistics, and all that kind of stuff. There's just enough people doing that to make our society function the way it is, so that for the rest of us, life's pretty easy. Like I said, I've been trying to grow crops, which I think in that video, like I started filming it ages ago, so I think in the introduction, maybe I explain why I started doing it. But I gotta say, like, trying to grow your own food. We probably have all the wrong crops anyway because, it was sort of a lucky dip situation. Like, we've been growing all this kale. And Paper Vampire was trying to explain to me that kale's actually good. And I'm like, really? But, like, what am I supposed to do with it? And actually, now Mum has tried kale in a salad or something, and suddenly she's sending me this message like, actually, kale's really good. And I'm like, oh my god, now we're going to be eating kale. At least I'm growing it though. But no, the only things I've eaten is bok choy, and I had one bit of rocket maybe, and a bit of carrot. Cooking steak and beans, my dinner before I work out. I should exercise more, but I find it hard to exercise. I need to be mentally stimulated. Is it? You think kale's alright? I just look at it and it's like this big leaf and I can't imagine. Although bok choy, actually, I'm a fairly recent convert to bok choy. I didn't really know if I liked it until I started growing it, and then we had it in like some kind of soupy stuff, and it was like, oh, this is actually really good. I like it more than the rocket stuff. Yeah, bok choy. I just gotta stop fucking caterpillars from eating it. And yeah, and the kale had a problem with aphids for a while, so I made a ladybug house. I'm not sure if I put that in the video. Kale chips from Switzerland that are good. Bought some from a fresh food festival. Kale the way I can eat it. Okay. Yeah, well, maybe we'll figure something out. I'm not really a veggie person in general, though. Like, one of my favorite dishes that Mum makes to try and trick me into eating veggies, it's basically like it has carrot and green stuff. And it's wrapped in a thin sheet of meat, sort of like, not wagyu, maybe it's wagyu, but like the thin beef that you use for shabu shabu and all that kind of stuff. And it's sort of marinated and it's wrapped around the veggies. And whatever the marinade is just like so good. And then I'll eat the veggies that are in there. Fruits. I should eat more fruits too, but I don't know, fruits are kind of annoying. I'm really bad with food, but hey. Yeah. The other way, there are other ways to get me to eat veggies though. Like if we have Subway, I always get a 6-inch meatball sub with cheese toasted, with lettuce, and if they have it, carrot and cucumber. And then the other thing I eat veggies in is Nando's. Making me hungry and still cooking. Well, I am sort of like, I can hang around for another 40 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna eat something. So it's probably better if I do think about food and get myself hungry enough to eat something. Heretic? How am I a heretic? Because what, I don't eat veggies? Or no, I love Nando's. I think they have one of the best loyalty programs as well, because you can just build up points and just buy more Nando's with it. Meatballs. At least I didn't put extra sauce on it. I think the meatball sauce is good enough. But you know, Nando's is one of the few things that'll make me eat tomato of my own free will without having to turn it into tomato sauce first. So I usually get a classic burger, lemon and herb, with regular chips because I don't like spicy stuff. Sometimes a Coke. I don't drink much Coke these days, but at Nando's it feels okay. And so that has like lettuce and stuff in it as well. Tomatoes, I think the only other thing I eat tomatoes in as is would be maybe like a chicken chili roll. There's this place out at the airport or close to the airport ish. And they do these really good chicken chili rolls. I always have mine without chili, but yeah, they're actually really nice. They get a bit soggy towards the end. I haven't had one in ages. I want to get a chicken chili roll now, but I don't want to go to the airport. Although, maybe it wouldn't be so busy to go to the airport because people are freaked out. And then you beef, brisket some from somewhere today. I ate half and we'll finish the other later. I only eat the meatball sub. I kind of like, when I eat places, I usually have like one dish that I will always get. I think that's a habit because like I am a picky eater, and then if you consider like when I was on these antidepressants and they destroyed my appetite, you know, it's easier if you just know what you like, whereas if you're trying to be adventurous and you decide you don't really like it, your appetite just dies. And that still happens to me sometimes. If I'm eating something that I'm not really into, my appetite just disappears. But if I really like it, I will sometimes eat more than I probably should, and then by the time it hits my stomach, I'm like, oh my god, food coma. Yeah, because of like, I think my eating habit, I just have like one dish that I know I will definitely eat at most places. There's only a handful of places where I'll eat different things. So like at Subway, it's the meatball sub. At Nando's, it's the classic burger. Although they used to have like a mini burger when I first started eating there, and I think that was when I was having those antidepressants, and I couldn't eat anything bigger than the mini burger. I don't think they have a mini burger anymore, but I'm glad I upgraded to classic. Sometimes they have the tropical classic though, and that's got pineapple and bacon in it as well, I think, and I love that. That's so good. Every time that deal comes around, I'm like, fuck yes. If I'm having Indian, it's butter chicken, hopefully not spicy. Some butter chickens are better than others, but that's my go-to. If it's Thai, it'll be pad Thai. If it's like Italian, I'm a bit more open to pasta. Dinner is a critical element of a date for you. I don't date. But like if you took me somewhere where I was unfamiliar with the food, we're not going to have a fun time. Like there's I think Lebanese food, I haven't found anything that I'm particularly into. So I always struggle on the rare occasions we have that. And then there's a few other places where I just haven't found a dish that I can really get into. If it's pizza, we usually get Domino's pizza. I usually get the Supreme, but with no capsicum, because that's gross. You can't even pick it out. If you try and pick it out, the taste stays. So no capsicum. Change it to barbecue sauce. We usually get the thin pizza base. I kind of think like you should at least stick to normal or go slightly bigger so that like you actually get more food. You know, and then it lasts longer. But my family's philosophy is get it thinner so that you get more of the taste or something. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It makes no difference to me. So I usually get the Supreme pizza. I used to get ham and pineapple, but Supreme still has pineapple, but it's also a bit more interesting. But they've also got this one that's like garlic chicken and ranch or something. It's one of the more premium ones. You have to spend like $3 extra, but it's really nice. Like thin pizza, New York style, or thick pan pizza like Chicago. I don't really know Chicago, New York style. They did try to bring in like a New York range or something, and as far as I can tell, they're just bigger, boring pizzas. I wouldn't go anywhere near them. But yeah, I remember when I was in America, like I went on a holiday, the pizza wasn't that exciting there. So maybe America has a different idea of pizza. I wasn't into it. The food in America wasn't for me, I gotta say. I was much happier when we went to like Tokyo Town in LA and had Japanese, because American food, maybe we went to the wrong places, but I was not into most of the stuff that we had there. That was a long time ago, though. Things could have changed, I suppose. But yeah, like America is sort of like about food being big rather than being good, and I'm just like, it's not for me. That's like, everyone now and then people are like, would you ever move to America? And I think food is one of the things that I'd be like, ew. um, yeah, anyway, pizza. So yeah, the garlic chicken and ranch, or I forget what it's called. Pretty into that as well. Actually, we had pizza last night, so there's some in the fridge, and I'm kind of like, maybe I should eat some more. Best pizza I ate was in Italy. I grew up on American, and then finally got to eat the real thing in Venice. Yeah. I just like American food. I don't know where you have to go to get something good, but yeah, it's um, anyway, so food, yeah, I was talking a lot about food. And all the different things. I did have a thought though, and I was like, I should talk about that, but I've forgotten what it was. Were we talking about something further up? Don't talk shit about America. Ah. Oh my god. America's a weird place though. I think like culturally, I know Australia and America both have roots in Britain or whatever, but it's the culture is different, and yeah, I don't know. I prefer just hanging out in Australia. Like we're a tiny, barely important country. You were talking yeah, about rabbit food. Oh, huh. Yeah, no, I don't remember if there was somewhere I was going with that. I'm talking about the different things I eat at different places. Yeah, no, I don't remember. If there was another thought there, it'll probably reappear after we finished up here. I've got about half an hour left, so if there's anything anyone wants to jump in with and distract me with, now's your chance. Otherwise, I'll keep trying to talk about food so that I stay hungry enough to eat something. And sometimes, like, it is hard to stay in the mood to eat. I'm sorry, I keep touching my nose. Um, are the Australians really racist towards the Aboriginals? It depends. Like anywhere, there are some people who will be racist to certain groups, and then there'll be others who aren't. Um, yeah, so I think it depends like what part of Australia you're talking to, and then individuals have variations. Yeah, so um, mm, sometimes there's like some tricky stuff with that, and it's hard to know what's the best thing to do to help people because I think there's this paranoia about the stolen generation. So, sometimes people are reluctant to move people around if there's a risk that like, you might be trying to help someone who's indigenous, but if you try and move them somewhere where you can help them more easily, then do you risk that sort of stolen generation kind of vibe again? So there's a lot of tricky historical stuff like that to deal with. Um, and then, yeah, there's all this politics that keeps popping up about, like, who counts as Aboriginal kind of thing. And then there's, like, activists who sometimes go a bit too far as well on different sides of the debate. Um, and then, but, like, it comes down to how do you help people the best? Like, regardless of your background, one of the hardest things about society in general is how do you help the most number of people without being a dick? Good seeing you. Gonna eat and get ready for the gym. I have a ritual. Yeah, okay, see ya. Have fun and all that. I'm glad you were able to join. Um, yeah, no, how is this time for people compared to when I usually live stream? I don't think, like, I would usually be able to stream this early most of the time, but right now I can. I guess there's a chance I could live stream again next week, maybe. So let me know if this time is good or if you prefer the later time. Um, but I can't really give any guarantees because it's 2020 and 2020 is being a bitch. Yeah, it's just things keep going wrong, and then also like my life aside, the world's a bit crazy. I mean, I think most dudes from Australia are tools. Okay, I mean, fucking computer. I don't like to judge people. Like, as I was saying about stereotypes, I guess there are probably a lot of people who are annoying, but there's like plenty of people who are fine as well. So I I'd be reluctant to make such a sweeping statement because there's a lot of dudes who are actually quite nice. And it, again, it sort of depends like where you are. There's different, like pockets of different cultural attitudes. The individuals are different. Different social groups have different kinds of people in them. So yeah, it's difficult to make a blanket statement. And especially like the whole of Australia. Australia, landmass wise, is quite big, so that means people are very spread out, and then in those different pockets, the culture in different places is different. So, like Queensland's culture, and especially like different places in Queensland, is quite different to Sydney culture, and then Melbourne culture is kind of different. Tasmania, like we tend to ignore Perth because it's all the way the other side of the country with the huge desert in between and mostly smaller towns in between. Adelaide gets ignored a bit, but I'd say on the east coast of Australia, yeah, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, we make jokes about each other, I think, because you do notice some kind of cultural differences and also accent differences. And then, like, whether you're city based or rural, that changes a lot of things. Why is every animal so deadly? um, well, I mean, if I'm not trying to stir you up, not every animal in Australia is deadly. Maybe we have a high proportion. Maybe that's a reflection on some of the harsher environmental conditions. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, no, we definitely like to play it up for tourists. We like to tell tourists that, drop bears are gonna get you. And, bunyips. No, I'm gonna turn into a deadly animal and get that fucking leaf blower. Sorry. It's just like, it's such an annoying noise. Anyway. The kangaroo box. Yeah, no, kangaroos, they can get aggressive. It's usually the males that are aggressive. So if you go to, like, Taronga Zoo or maybe even the Sydney Wildlife Zoo in the middle of the city, but definitely Taronga Zoo, you can walk through the Australian section. And when I was with my cousin, we went through the Australian section of Taronga Zoo and we came across one of the guides who was talking and she was saying that all the kangaroos, like you actually walk amongst the animals. There are kangaroos and emus and wallabies and they're all just sort of wandering around you. In that section, she was saying they're all female kangaroos because they're much safer, whereas the males can get a bit aggressive and they can attack people. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe some people think kangaroos are cute or something, but they do have those big hind legs, and then they can also like, they can punch you, but they can also jump in a way that to kick you, and that can be quite bad. Yeah, it's the male kangaroos are usually the problem. Anyway, yeah, and then there's some place where a lot of tourists feed the kangaroos carrots, and the kangaroos have been addicted to the carrots because I think carrots have a lot more sugar than what they used to. The Aussie outback, there's a lot of drier kinds of plants, and I mean, carrots have sort of been bred by humans to have more nutrition or something in it, and for kangaroos that's a bit much. So they've got more sugars and whatever. So there's these kangaroos who've gotten addicted to carrots, and all these tourists go to this place to feed them carrots to get selfies for their social media, not realizing that the carrots, like the kangaroos have become addicted to the carrots, and they will get aggressive and try and take the carrots off you, and people have ended up in hospital. I'm not sure if anyone's died from being attacked by a kangaroo there, but if it hasn't happened yet, it might happen eventually if people keep ignoring the warnings about that. But yeah, no, we have a lot of interesting animals in Australia. No, if you come to Sydney, go to Taronga Zoo. That's a bit of fun. I remember the other food thing. Where is my... Okay, so, in high school, one of they were smoking a Camel cigarettes and yelling out hateful things. Here is a top and a mainstream. I don't get that carrot. Oh man. Okay, so food things. On the weekend, my brother and I went to this Chinese restaurant because I think it's like one of my high school's friends' dad's restaurant. And a long time ago, I went and I brought back some leftovers and then shared it with the family. And there's this one dish that he's been dreaming of for more than a decade. And I finally got in touch with my high school friend again and was like, "What was that dish?" And what's the restaurant and all that, and we finally found it. So it's like this crispy beef. I think it has a slightly different name. It's like shredded beef something, crispy beef. I don't know, but we finally found it, and it was really good. So here's the card. Oh my god, where's the camera? It's not even focusing on it. Good work, camera. Oh. All right, never mind. It's Eastwood Seafood Restaurant, 167 Row Street, Rowe Street, Eastwood. Um, we enjoyed that, and we did get some more leftovers, and he already finished it. But yeah, no, that was my exciting food adventure for the week. We went to that restaurant, and I haven't had Chinese in ages, and the crispy beef, like he hasn't been able to find it for ages. I think he didn't know what it was called though, because he wasn't even sure it was beef. He's like, it's sort of like a pork chicken beef. And yeah, we finally found it, and it was really nice. What was that? Corona free establishment. Oh my god, like just because it's Chinese. Um, yeah, no, it was fine. I mean, I think it looked like it wasn't as busy as maybe it should have been for a lunchtime on a Saturday, and it's probably because people are panicked and too busy buying toilet paper to go out and eat anywhere. But that was good for us because it means like you get straight into the restaurant, you get fast service and all that. Yeah, and it was really tasty, and we also had like the duck pancake, and we had like dumplings or something. Um, yeah, no, that was really good. So the Eastwood Seafood Restaurant. I think they also sometimes call it like Eastwood Peking Garden Restaurant, or maybe I'm mixing up the words around, but something like that. I don't think they have a website though. But yeah, I think it's the only place that we know of where that crispy beef is. I'm sure like other places have it, but we've not found it anywhere. Um, yeah, so if you're looking for places to eat in Sydney, that's one place. Hopefully they stick around. Hopefully, like they don't get so badly hit by the hysteria that they'd have to close down. But yeah, no, that was fun. And now that we know where it is, we can go back again. But yeah, so like I don't think there's any particular dish I usually go for with Chinese. So we just kind of tried whatever. And yeah, also like with some of the restaurants, some restaurants like Chinese and Japanese restaurants, because they have like lots of subcategories of different kinds of food, like Japanese, like you might have a ramen restaurant, you might have a sushi restaurant, and they're quite different. Like it's hard for me to say one particular dish that's my go-to for those kinds of ones. um, Whereas like nearly all Indian restaurants have butter chicken in some form, so that makes it easier going to those places. But like with Japanese food, I guess I kind of know because mum cooks a lot of stuff. So, yeah. Oh my god, a message just popped up on my Facebook, so try not to get distracted. I've got another 18 minutes. What is there more food stuff we can talk about to try and make sure I'm hungry? Sometimes it's hard because my appetite is a bit weird, and if I lose it, then I'll forget to eat, and then later in the day I end up kind of lightheaded, and I'm like, why do I feel like this? And then realize it's because I didn't eat. Sometimes it's also because I didn't sleep early enough. My sleep pattern's been a bit off. I think after I had the Zyrtec, because I napped, it took a while for me to get back to sleep again, even though I was drowsy. And then I had like a weird, like, when you take stuff, sometimes like, it messes up the quality of your sleep. And then the next day I was all drowsy. And then, I think I didn't get to sleep at the right time because you're just like sort of slow all day. And yeah, so I was getting headaches and all that. And like when you combine that with the hay fever, for a while I was sort of paranoid. Like, what if I did have the virus? Would I know? But now that I've gotten better sleep, I've been a bit more disciplined. I haven't had any headaches today, so I'm fine. It's just the hay fever that I still have to deal with. Although, as you can see, as this video's gone along, like I've been sniffling less, and hopefully playing with my nose less. But yeah, because like as the day goes on, and then also as I become distracted by things, I seem like yeah, it just chills out. Last night I was sneezing again as well. I don't know if it's triggered by something. But yeah, it's just annoying, and it has. I feel like it's been worse since things got heaps rainier, in Sydney. So maybe it's like humidity related, or I don't know. But when we were like in that sort of drought period, mostly fine. Like even with the bushfire smoke, I don't think I was sniffling too much. Um, Definitely not using as many tissues as I am at the moment. Oh, and God help us if, like, you try and go and buy more tissues at the supermarket and all the nut jobs have gotten onto that as well. Oh, oh man. Yeah, it's been a crazy year. We've been talking about a food item you never had that you can finally try to make your picky more diverse. Well, I mean, like, I haven't tried kale yet, so I guess, when Mum decides to get creative with that, we'll have some goddamn kale. It seems to grow pretty easily though. Like, especially like we ended up with way more kale than we would ever need. It just keeps growing, and it's like, oh, why won't you just die? Like some of the other things, we had a spinach growing. I don't really know when you're supposed to eat spinach, so I just let it grow seeds, and then it died. And I'm like, great. I don't even use spinach anyway, but the kale just keeps going. Baked pumpkin seeds. Hey, I don't know. I haven't really eaten much pumpkin ever since the great pumpkin soup crisis of my childhood. If there's any childhood trauma in my life, it's the pumpkin soup incident. Oh, so there was like, was I in primary school or high school? I don't remember. But there was a period of time where, now that I've talked about my nose, I'm all like, ah! Yeah, no, so, like, when I was a kid, we went through this period during winter where we would have soup a lot, and the main one Mum used to make was pumpkin soup. But I think one time she used, like, some kind of cream or something that she didn't usually use, and it was slightly out of date or something, and, we all ended up with, I guess, a mild food poisoning. And so Mum, I think she took Seirogan, which is like this Japanese stomach pill or whatever, and she was fine. I think like I know what Seirogan is now, but back then it was just like Mum's magic Japanese pills. But Dave and I, we kept throwing up, and I think we even tried to take the pill and then threw that up as well, and we even came up with a song for it. Yeah, food PTSD. Was just about to go to bed, 2 a.m. here, and I see this. Well, shit, have a nice stream. Yeah, I tried to start earlier. I'm sorry I didn't give more warning. I just realized late last night, oh, I could stream, so I set it up. Yeah, no. Let me know if you prefer earlier, because I might be able to do it early again next week. But we'll see. Is there sort of rare opportunity to come online a bit earlier than I normally would? But yeah, no, so we were just throwing up for ages, and yeah, alright, have a good sleep. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be talking about throwing up right before I want to eat, though. Oh my god, Hopi threw up this morning, and like, it wasn't bad or anything, it was just sort of watery kind of stuff, but then I'm trying to clean it up, and even though it was pretty chill as far as, every now and then he'll throw up, even though it was more of a chill one, I just, like, I'm cleaning it up and straight away start gagging. And I'm like, what is this? What is this psychological reflex to gag when I know, like, nothing's going to happen to me? I even put on gloves. I was like, maybe if I put on gloves, my brain will chill the fuck out. No. Yeah, let's change the subject. Hey, do you like ice cream? I don't eat ice cream that much these days. Oh, every fucking time I feel like once we hit the sort of hour and a half mark, it has to reconnect. Are we still actually online? Because one time I kept going and it wasn't actually online. I feel like our internet's been slightly better since we got the NBN, just because, like, even though our downloads are slower, our uploads are better, Praline's and cream is one of my favorite. Okay. No, sometimes I'll be in the mood for ice cream, but mostly not. Maybe because it's milky. I find I have less milky stuff these days, and I'm not sure if that's because I've just fallen out of the habit or if maybe milky stuff doesn't agree with me so much. Like sometimes I worry that I'm getting a bit of a stomach ache. I don't think I have any allergies or anything though. I just yeah, I think I have less milky stuff, which is probably not a good thing because I'm a female. As I get older, I become more at risk of things like osteoporosis. So I probably should try and have more dairy, pie and coffee. I don't drink coffee at all. I don't like the taste and the smell and all that kind of stuff. I drink tea. I'm a tea person, which like caffeine isn't really good for your calcium absorption, I think. I don't know, as I get older, I'm going to have to be more careful about things like calcium and I should get more vitamin D and oh my god. Aging, hey. Because people think I'm heaps young, but I'm not. And, I'm going to start thinking about that stuff. But, every now and then I'll have ice cream. I'm just not that into it. And I think, like, I used to eat more chocolate as well. But there's a point where I just stopped, really. Every now and then I'll have a little bit, but nowhere near. Like, for the HSC, like the final exam, when you're leaving high school, during that sort of study period, I was eating huge amounts of chocolate. I sort of milked that because, like, the HSC year is the year that parents kind of feel guilty and they're like, oh, you got to do all this study kind of stuff. So they'll buy you heaps of chocolate. And I was like, yeah, buy me all the chocolate. I need study chocolate. And so I ate a lot of chocolate then. But these days, yeah, like, even if I buy chocolate, I tend to forget about it and just have it sitting around for ages. Easter, Halloween, Valentine's Day. The next day is usually when like the chocolate sales are on, and especially after Easter, I used to buy up heaps of chocolate. But one year, I still had the chocolate the next year, and I was just like, no more buying huge amounts of discount chocolate for me because I'm not gonna eat it. Butter pecan ice cream, maybe. Oh my god! So you're into the fancy ice cream? I usually just have like, ice cream with maybe hundreds and thousands. I don't know what you call them overseas. Turkish delight or baklava. I think I have. I think I have tried it. It's that like they made them in those little squares or something, and it's okay, but I'm not that excited by it. Um, oh my god. My brother Dave, he eats a lot of junk food kind of stuff, but he also exercises like crazy. So when he does blood tests, he basically has the blood test profile of a vegetarian, so, which is just incredible. The amount of, he's a really active guy, the amount of exercise he does, and he just loves running around. He plays a lot of sport, even like into adulthood, he still plays a lot of sport and all that. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm too lazy. I mean, I should exercise more, but if it doesn't involve music or if it doesn't involve my brain somehow, I think I get too bored. I think I've said before, like the Tronga wild ropes, that's a fun way to get some exercise. But going for a run, boring, boring. And I think aerobic exercise is the type of exercise I should be doing, but that tends to be the most boring. And then you get heaps sweaty and gross, and I just hate that feeling. And I hate showering as well, so it's all a bad combination. Um, what's your first musical instrument? I mean, like, we all start on recorder in kindy, right? But, like, the first instrument I properly learned was violin. I wanted to learn guitar, but my school wouldn't let us learn guitar until we were, like, in fifth grade, and I started in year two. Um, so yeah, I was too young for my school, and so like play violin instead. I think someone tried to convince me to play piano, and I think I did want to play piano, but I was worried about the expense of it. My parents brought me up to be relatively conservative money wise. I know every now and then I'll do something crazy and buy a $6,000 computer, but for the most part, I don't really spend that much money. I tend to save up and save up and save up, and then I'll snap and buy something. um, but yeah, so like I was just sort of thinking about money. I was like, we can't afford a piano. Where are we even going to put it, kind of thing. I don't know if keyboards were very good back then, like electronic keyboards, but I had this feeling like doing piano would be too inconvenient for the family and all that, so I never did that. But when they're like violin, and I had, violin kind of looks like a guitar in a weird way, but it's not really, as you find out later on, which is a shame. Um, but, violin's smaller and more portable. Bass guitar in the house. Need an amp, no one knows how to use it. Oh dear. Yeah, I've got a bass guitar. I've got too many instruments these days. But yeah, no. So I started on violin because it's smaller, it's portable. I had a friend who played violin. We were close early in primary school, and so that's why I did that. Oops, why isn't it scrolling? Hello, I'm actually just about to leave for lunch, unfortunately. I can't really stick around too long because I have so much to get done. But because I was able to get in early today, violin solos. Yeah, so Rainbow Death Ray, I played violin. I also played a bit of violin with Winter Gaunt, but I think going forward, I'm not really going to play violin, at least not live, just because it's so hard. My main focus is vocals. I enjoy vocals a lot more than violin. Also, these days when I'm playing violin, I get a bit of jaw pain, and I'm not sure if that's because my technique has gotten worse, because I haven't had a teacher in a long time and I don't practice that much, or it could be because I had like all those braces and the expander plate, and I had so much done to my teeth and all that. I feel like it's possible that my jaw has sort of changed shape too much, and now when I do the violin thing with the chin rest, it just doesn't agree with my face anymore or something. Like maybe there's some tension going on that I haven't sorted out. And so there's that side of things. Like violins become a bit painful to play. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's my fault or if it's what's been done to my face. I like classical piano and jazz also. um, but yeah, and then also I enjoy vocals more. It's just fun, especially now that I can growl and I'm working on my growl technique and I get really into that. And then because you're a singer, you tend to be like, singers are the front person of the band. And one of the things that, when you're trying to swap instruments, especially just something as fragile as a violin, like I have an electric violin, but you still have to be careful with the bow and all that kind of stuff. So you basically, like, you'll be headbanging, rocking out, and then you have to stop, pick up the instrument, make sure it's on your shoulder properly, make sure the bows are, and all this kind of stuff, and then play, and then stop, and then carefully put it back down again, and then try and rock out again, and it just really breaks up the flow a lot. And then, with Rainbow Death Ray, I was also programming the backing tracks because we didn't have a drummer, and so I had way too much gear, and I just didn't feel like I was doing the best as a front person because, especially non-musicians, they tend to focus on the singer. And so when you get off stage, then everyone wants to talk to you. And I felt bad because I was so busy cleaning up all my stuff. And my bandmates, they would try and help me clean up, but get my computer and my violin, they're both kind of fragile kind of things. Computer's probably easier to get someone else to pack up, but violin, you can't touch it in certain spots, otherwise the oil will ruin the sound. You have to loosen the bow so that it doesn't get out of shape, and put it in the case and all this kind of stuff. And I just would have to be rushing all my gear off the stage to the side and then be putting everything in all its different cases and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, there are people who were wanting to talk to me, and I just felt bad that I couldn't do that because, like, as a front person, it's kind of your job to, you're entertaining the fans and you want them to feel included and all that, and it doesn't stop just because you got off stage. Once you get off stage, you still have to be good to your fans and all that, and it was hard to do that. And so I feel like that's another downside of the violin. Like, yes, it has novelty value. If you're thinking from a marketing perspective, it helps you stand out as something different. But I'm not really enjoying it. It hurts, and well, these days it hurts. And especially if I play too long, if I play a short amount of time, it's fine. But if I play for ages, trying to practice, for example, it hurts my jaw. Probably my posture is not great for it as well. Sometimes I get a bit of a shoulder pain. And then, yeah, I didn't feel like I was doing a good job as a front person. So that's like with my solo stuff is just singing now. And if I go forward with a band, it's just going to be singing. I'm not going to be playing violin. Not live anyway. Maybe in a recording, in which case, like if I ever did a music video, maybe you'd see it in that. But the thing is, if you do it in a recording, then what do you do live? Do you grab some random violinist to fill in just that one bit, or do you put it in a backing track, but then you have to time it to go with the drummer, and depending on the drummer, sometimes that doesn't work out, and then technology, when you add technology, you add things that can go wrong. I've seen some bands, there was this one band, what were they called? I don't know, but they had a backing track, like they had a full band, and then they had a backing track on top of it. They didn't need the backing track the way Rainbow Death Ray did. Like if we didn't have a backing track, there's no drums. um, so they had it filling in like orchestral stuff or something, and it made the mix quite muddy, and then yeah, it sort of got out of time with the drums or something, and at some point they turned it off for one song, and all of a sudden their sound was fantastic. Like once you took out that distraction of the backing track, their sound just like it was amazing. And then the next song they turned it back on, and it was back to being sort of just like shit. Hey, yeah, so you have to be careful when you're putting backing tracks into a band. It'll work with some bands like it did with Rainbow Death Ray because we needed it, but for other bands, I guess if you're doing like symphonic metal, it might have been a symphonic metal band if you're trying to do that kind of thing. I guess that's the only way you can get orchestral, unless you have like a keyboard player who can fill in enough of that stuff, which is probably a more sensible thing to do. If you can, like maybe you can't have the full orchestra that you want, but maybe you can approximate the parts with a keyboard. I think that's better if you have live drums. You have to plan it really well if you're going to put that stuff with live drums. I think there are some industrial bands I've seen in the local scene who've done it really well, but then the drummer has to wear an earpiece or full-on headphones. I've seen that too. And depending on how much work the drummer has to do, then they get heaps sweaty and they've got headphones as well, and it's even sweaty. I have seen that. Might have been one of my friends who did that actually. But yeah, no, adding backing tracks to your music, you just have, it's not as easy as just chucking them on. You've got to think about the logistics of it, and also, is it actually complementing your sound, or is it just distracting and making things muddy? Yeah, complicated stuff. But so, I'm probably not going to come back to violin live. It's just, yeah. And that's one of the big obstacles. Like some people have been like, bring back Rainbow Death Ray, but if I'm not playing violin, then we have to change so many of our songs because so many of them did have violin. And then there's other issues like, all the different band members have gone off doing other things, gotten busy with other things. Trying to audition an all-female band on purpose is too difficult. I don't want to have to go through that again. We kind of picked up most of our members by accident anyway. And, do I know that many female musicians who are good enough? Maybe not, and I'd probably want to level up as well because I wrote most of the songs for Rainbow Death Ray, and my guitar playing is not good, and so that's one of the reasons that it's actually quite simple. I mean, some people didn't realize that because we had a lot of synths and other stuff going on, so it sounds like complicated music, but it's not. So some people who've then gone to try and play our music have been like, oh, this is actually really easy. It's because I wrote most of the guitars. So, yeah. And the image is too cheerful. Like, I became depressed afterwards, and I'm fine now, but I don't have that same mindless energy that I did back then. So, there's that kind of obstacle. My aesthetic has changed, and there becomes a point where when you try to solve all those problems, it's essentially a new band altogether. And, would I continue under the Rainbow Death Ray label, given it would be so different, or would I just start a new band? And then you have to build up all that stuff, and it's just like, oh my god. And then because I started Rainbow Death Ray, like, I was the most experienced musician out of all of us. Apart from our new guitarist, no one else had been in a real band before. So I took on board a lot of the management type stuff and a lot of promotional type stuff and organizational type stuff, and I really just burnt out. And when I start bands, like I've started a lot of bands. Rainbow Death Ray is the only one that actually went anywhere. And starting those bands, if you start a band, people automatically assume you're going to be the leader and they look to you for all the different things. And because I sort of, the way that I am, if I think I have like a duty to do something, I can take it a little bit too seriously sometimes. And then I burn out, which is no fun. And yeah, if I burn out, then I risk getting depressed again, don't I? So yeah, there's a lot of reasons for not bringing back Rainbow Death Ray and not starting a new band from scratch. And doing the solo thing instead, because, you know, I mean, if I'm going to do all that work anyway, overwork myself because I'm so bad at telling other people, hey, could you do this for me? And then also, like, if someone doesn't know how to do something, but I know how to do it, I might as well do it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a tricky balancing act. And if I'm going to be doing a lot of that work anyway, I might as well just be solo. Like, yes, I can't have guitars, but I can do everything else. So maybe I just be a soloist, because then I don't have to organize rehearsals. That takes that out of the equation. Then I don't have to ask anyone, are you free to do this gig? That's another thing, you know, it's about reducing the amount of things that I have to do. So that's one of the reasons that I was doing the solo stuff. I will try and release my new song from last year. I'll try and get onto that to release it this year. I don't know if I'll write anything new for my solo stuff this year. I just haven't been that into it. I don't really like being a soloist. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'll perform solo this year, but if I want to get royalties for Nando's money, I probably should. Although, like, I don't think royalties are enough to justify the bus ticket. I'm pretty sure they're less than the bus ticket it would take me to get to a gig the cheapest way possible. But anyway, there's some music stuff. But no, I'm looking at what I do with music this year. I will try and do some more covers, but, you know, the ultimate goal is to be in a band, on stage, having fun with that. Performing is a lot of fun. But the solo project, I just feel a lot of pressure. And also, because I haven't written that much, I've been sticking to open mics. Because I don't really know, I don't even know who would take the kind of music that I've got and put it out on, like, a proper stage. I mean, I could probably ask around. But the other thing is, my first EP is that asexuality one. I don't really want to be associated with asexuality. It was more of a uni thing. I was sort of gaming the system, to be honest. I mean, yes, there were some things that I probably needed to get off my chest and explore in it, but now that that's done, I don't want to play most of the songs. So the only songs that I do want to play, it's not long enough to have a full set at a proper gig. It's more like open mic kind of stuff. So yeah, those are some music things that I've had to think about. But yeah, no, I have been working on what I'm going to do in music this year. I don't want to say anything just in case I don't do it, because 2020 is annoying. But yeah, I do at least have one more cover coming that I've already filmed. I just haven't gotten around to it. And then, yeah, we'll see how things go for the rest of the year. But as I said, I don't want to promise too much. Because, like, even, you know, the start of this year, hey guys, what videos do you want? Vote in this poll. And we're in March now, and I've done fuck all. So I'm just like, I shouldn't, I just can't plan things. 2020 is just stupid. You know, like Australia we started with fires, then floods, then the toilet paper crisis, and it's like, what's going to happen next month? And then in my own life, you know, we went through the list of bullshit happening to me. Last live stream, we still don't have a working dishwasher. At least the aircon's good though, so that's one less thing to worry about. Anyway, it's well and truly lunchtime, so I'm gonna have to go. This is your absolute last chance to throw me a quick question, because I'm hungry after talking about, like, Indian food and Thai food, and there is pizza in the fridge. As long as Dave hasn't got to it before me. But there was so much pizza. I couldn't eat much pizza last night because I mistimed things and I had a bit too much rice beforehand. But, yeah, no, this is your absolute last chance to throw me, like, a question before I leave, because I've got so much to do and I'm hungry. I know there's a delay, so I'll give you a moment, but I think maybe you guys are all out of questions, unless someone wants to, like, troll something. Alright guys, well, so what's happening this week? I will be hopefully releasing a Punk Rave Australia video now that I've finally finished editing it. As I said earlier in the live stream, stick around or skip to the very end because I put in some extra photos. I'll probably put some more photos on Patreon as well, and I've also got to finish doing my Instagram post for it. Go for a join, get your wish. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm wrapping up now. It's too late for more questions. I'm telling you what's happening and then I'm going to go. So, Punk Rave Australia video coming. I've done the ending a little bit differently to normal, so you catch that because I think I did a good job of it. So, you know, in the next few days, hopefully they'll look at it and be like, yep, we can go live with it. So there'll be an Instagram post as well, and I'll try and get some more stuff for Patreon. Oh, there were some bloopers I wanted to put on Patreon. I should get onto that. No, I've got other things I need to do. Okay, and then I'll try and edit some of the older videos. So we've got a Disturbed cover coming again with some me being an idiot in a few bits. We've got, what are other videos coming? Oh, the Alienware unboxing kind of thing. I've got some bonsai video coming I need to film a bit more for. I've got like the other things I've been growing I've got to film a little bit more for. And then I think I can start filming some new content finally, maybe. And we can get back on track with our plans for YouTube this year. Cross fingers, because 2020 is absolutely insane and I am just like, fuck. So that's the plan for, you know, what's coming next. I will try and live stream sort of in the first half of next week again. So do like leave me a comment if you prefer me to start at 10:30 or like my more usual time. I think I usually start at 12:30 or maybe 1:30. Anyway, like let me know what time Sydney time works for you, and I suppose I could put a poll up, but I can't be bothered. Should I put a poll up? Maybe leave a comment if you think I should put a poll asking what time to live stream next week, and I'll try and set something up. But as I said, 2020 is being stupid. God knows, like, if we do order a dishwasher, if they choose my filming days, that's going to be annoying to install it, but we really need it done. 2020, you will have to learn American slang and mannerisms so you don't get trolled hard. Ah, no, fuck it. I'll stick to being an Aussie. But, like, Aussie, you know, I'm a Sydney City Aussie, so I don't have as many of the exciting things like, hey, True Blue, fair dinkum, g'day, mate. I don't even say g'day usually. I only say g'day for foreigners. Anyway, so those are the plans. Some videos coming up, hopefully some live streaming. Hopefully my life will chill the fuck out. Yeah, but we'll see, and I hope you guys are doing okay as well. I need to get some lunch. I'm going to have some leftover pizza maybe. I haven't quite decided, but if I don't eat it now, I will miss out. So, alright, thanks for joining me, and try not to get too crazy with the toilet paper, guys, and try not to panic and all that. It'll be fine. Oh, hello! You're just joining us as I'm leaving. I'm really sorry. I've got to go and have something to eat, and then I've got so much work to get done today. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'll try and live stream again next week, and I'll try and give you, like, maybe more than 24 hours notice for a change. But yeah, so just keep an eye on that, and yeah, let me know what time is better, Sydney time, for me to be live streaming. Maybe if there's a better day, I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll put a poll up in the community tab, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, enough, like, ramble. I'm gonna go. So, yeah, take care, guys. Be sensible. And, yeah, don't follow the hysteria and, like, think about alternative perspectives, because sometimes the media does get a bit crazy. And they don't talk about all the people who are recovering. Anyway, that's all. I'm gonna go. See you guys.